So now let's get into section 2. We're going to discuss the Middle Ages and the spread of Christianity. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the former Roman lands were divided into smaller kingdoms. Remember, we talked about the fall of the Roman Empire, how they split it in two. Diocletian split it in two. After the fall of the Roman Empire, different areas are going to be split up into smaller kingdoms, and this is going to lead to a period of history called the Middle Ages, which is a period that lasted from 500 to about 1500. And another name for the Middle Ages is the medieval times. So you hear medieval Europe. That's the time we're talking about here. Of course, this is a picture that shows you what medieval times is usually classified as looking like. Castles and things like that. At the beginning of the Middle Ages, many of the kingdoms of Northern Europe were not Christian nations. Christianity was only popular in places that had been under Roman rule. And so because of this, Christianity started to spread into Northern Europe through missionaries and monks. They started sending people out as missionaries to spread Christianity. Perhaps the most powerful force to spread Christianity was the Pope. The Pope would commission missionaries to go and convert people, sending people long distances to do this. One of the first places the Pope sent missionaries was the Isle of Britain. One that was not commissioned by the Pope was Patrick, St. Patrick. We just had St. Patrick's Day. Patrick spread Christianity to Northern Europe. He traveled alone and was responsible for the conversion of many people in Ireland. St. Patrick is an interesting figure because he was originally a prisoner there. He was taken captive in Ireland. He escaped and goes back to Ireland to preach and become a missionary. And so that's one thing he's known for, causing mass conversions in Ireland. And so this just shows you there's the arrival of St. Patrick in 432 here, and it kind of shows you some of the areas that he traveled spreading Christianity around 400 AD. Monks are religious men who lived apart from society, lived in monasteries. Monks had to follow strict rules that were to help them become better Christians, such as how to dress and eat. There's very strict rules that for monasteries, monks have to follow very strict rules in terms of some of them take a vow of silence where they don't talk. Some take a vow of celibacy where they never get married or anything like that. So it's a very serious order that is based around religion. These are technically friars. Pictures of what friars look like. A Benedict is a monk that created rules for monks. That seems redundant, but this will become Benedictine rule, strict rules created by Benedict. Monks in different areas had different rules they had to follow. Now, the Benedictine order was very, very strict. He had very strict rules for the monks, and they had to follow them or they would be removed from the monastery. Monks provided many services such as health care, giving aid to people in the community. They would also run schools. They studied ancient writings. They served as scribes and advisors. And they were also able to spread Christianity into previously uncharted areas. So they would just basically help in the community. They would get health care. They would run schools. They would write books. They would, translate the Bible. They would spread Christianity. All these different things were done by the monks. As Christianity was spreading into Northern Europe, there was also political changes. In 480, the Franks conquered Gaul under a man by the name of Clovis. Clovis was the ruler that converted Christianity and created one of the strongest kingdoms in Europe. But they would reach their full power under Charlemagne when the Franks reached their height. And so Clovis converted to Christianity and created one of the strongest kingdoms in Europe. A lot of people believe that he did this as a way of gaining more power to convert to Christianity so that the Christian areas around would want to unite with them, and also it gave them a sense of uniting together. Charlemagne spent much of his time at war to build his empire. He conquered much of the old Roman territory, and on Christmas Day of 800, Pope Leo III crowned him emperor, symbolizing a return to the greatness of Rome. Charlemagne spent a lot of time focusing on bringing educational standards back under his empire. So, under the Holy Roman Empire, which is what this would become, this would make him the Roman emperor. They hadn't had one in a long time, signifying the greatness of Rome, but also the marriage between Rome and the Christian faith, which Rome persecuted before its fall. And remember, we talked about that towards the end, you start seeing people convert to Christianity, and some people believe that the fall of Rome happened because of them converting to Christianity and things like that. This shows the coronation. As Charlemagne was building his empire, Muslim invaders were moving all over the continent. Vikings raided Britain, Ireland, and other parts of Western Europe. Vikings could sail their ships upriver, so this allowed them to attack the entire Iberian Peninsula. That ended abruptly. But basically, you're going to have invaders threatening Europe. This is going to lead on into Section 3. It's the reason why it stops like this, is it leads on into Section 3. So we'll go ahead and get into Section 3.